Hello, my name's Alia and I'd like to buy pigeons just to set them free. I don't know how mothers are like where you're from, but mothers in Egypt are very practical. They like to spend all their money on things that are beneficial and cost effective, which, let me tell you, is not the ideal environment for a child to grow up. Whether you're using your allowance money to buy candy or fast food, or even saving it to buy something like a Game Boy, no matter how it goes, your mother will think it is both wasteful and frivolous, because ultimately to them, your father had worked really hard for this money and you really need to spend it on something that's practical, something that's beneficial. You shouldn't waste it like that, even if it brings you a sense of joy. It's fleeting in their opinion. So it goes without saying that I had this stupid assumption in my head that when I was old enough to be in charge of my own finances and make my own money, I wouldn't really get the guilt talk. But boy, was I wrong. That's not even slightly true. Though we don't really get it in the sense of direct guilt, like, oh my god, you could have spent your money on something else. Instead, I get
علياء مش انا كنت بنده عليكي.
لا اسفه يا ماما، كنت بشوف حاجه. بصي جبت ايه؟
وده ايه ده ان شاء الله؟ رايحه تجيبي لي عروسه؟
لا يا ماما، ده مش عروسه. ده خروف جبته من الحفله الصينيه. المفروض ليهم ابراج الخاصه بتاعتهم من كل سنه بتتولدوا فيها، ودي السنه اللي انا اتولدت فيها، سنه الخروف.
برج صيني؟ وماله؟ صدق اللي قال اللي معاه قرش محيره.
شكرا يا ماما.
Not even when I'm buying something that I find personally useful or I'm dying for in general.
بصي جبت ايه؟ دي بقيت السلسله بتاعت الكتاب اللي انا قلت لك عليه وعجبني قوي.
وماله ما هو اللي معاه قرش محيره بقى.
جبت شاحن جديد عشان القديم بتاعي باظ.
معاكي فلوس مش عارفه توديها فين، اللي معاه قرش محيره.
Okay, the last one's probably not true. We all need phone charges. The thing is, my mom doesn't have to actively come out and say that I really shouldn't have spent a ton of money on AliExpress to buy washi tapes and stickers. While there are people out there starving and in need of food, all she has to do is say one single sentence. اللي معاه قرش محيره يشتري حمام ويطيره. The literal meaning of this phrase is, he who has a penny or a piastre, as the case may be, that he doesn't know what to do with, might as well buy pigeons just to set them free. The act of merely buying pigeons just to release them into the wild has always given the impression of how wasteful this is as an act. Like, why would you do this when there are people starving out there, when people would die for this as a food to eat, when they cannot afford such a luxury, but you are just throwing it out there into the wild. The interesting thing about this saying is, even though I'd heard it growing up all my entire life, I never really understood its origins and where it came from. It was just something my mom and my aunt said all the time to make me feel super guilty about every single thing I bought. It wasn't until I started doing research for this particular video that I realized that there is a story behind it, and that goes all the way back to the Mamluk era in Egypt. In that particular time, rich people would go to the poultry section in the open market and buy pigeons just to release them and let them go. Aside from the rush they got from freeing these birds and letting them fly into the sky, they had another motive, and that is their firm belief they were doing a religious good deed. As the pigeons were mentioned in the Quran, they believed that these birds, like us, praised God. So for them to set these birds free to praise God meant that there will be good deeds counted in their favor, or as we refer to them in Arabic, hasanat. However, to the poor people at the market who couldn't afford to buy food for their families, let alone pigeons, such a luxury at the time, this act was very frivolous and wasteful and absolutely heinous in their opinions, especially since there's nothing in the Quran that forbids us from eating birds. In fact, it is preferred as one of the meats we can eat. So for them to see these pompous rich people come there and do the deed filled them with a lot of resentment. And that's when they came up with the phrase, اللي معاه قرش محيره يشتري حمام ويطيره. Anyhow, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and I will look forward to seeing you in the next one. أشوفكم بعدين. مع السلامة.
علياء،
نعم.
الكاميرا دي جديدة؟
الكاميرا جديدة. جبتها يعني عشان تساعدني في القناة وكده ان انا اعمل فيديوهات احلى.
وماله ما اللي معاه قرش محيره بقى.